Welcome to Moments with Marianne. This is your host, Marianne Pastana. We're here today with special guest, Pavel Aeon, who's here to share with us the work of integration after awakening. So why do so many people feel burnt out after personal or spiritual breakthroughs? And how can integration change that? Well, today's guest is here to share with us just that. Pavel Aeon is an expert in self-realization techniques, an international conscious DJ and producer, and a serial entrepreneur with a passion for holistic wellness. His innovative BDM method integrates powerful tools from across the globe, including breathwork, movement, and mindfulness practices to guide individuals towards balance and inner peace. As a certified Wim Hof instructor and ambassador for peace, Pavel's mission is to empower others to align with their true selves and foster community connection through the transformative power of movement and sound. Performing at festivals, retreats, conscious parties, and biohacking summits, Pavel transforms dance floors into sacred spaces of alchemy. So welcome to the show, Pavel Aeon.
Thank you so much. Super happy and grateful to be here.
Well, what an honor it is to have you here and to talk about your work. What started you on this path?
Yeah, absolutely. So born and raised in Czech Republic, and essentially, I always had this deep, questioning of everything, the societal norm and what is true happiness, and growing up with tons of autoimmune issues, depression, anxiety, sleep issues, kind of what I believe our world is right now truly going through. I went on this journey through self-transformation, and essentially I moved to the United States. I had this whole wild 6 to 8 year journey with Orange Theory Fitness, where I just put all of my effort into being an entrepreneur and living the American dream, so to speak. And I burned out again. I had that same realization, same every two, I would be sick, tired. And essentially it led me to on even deeper journey. And so what I did as an entrepreneur, I committed myself that every 2 to 3 months, I'm going to do something ridiculous, something that will, put me out of my comfort zone in search of what is this, true meaning of life. And so I start traveling. I, met Wim Hof at first, went through the whole ice excursion and spent a year training under him. I've also ventured out into this mystical village in Brazil. I spent 2 weeks with the samurais and Zen master teachers in Japan. And it really wasn't until I went into a dark room where one of those crazy paths was 10 days in complete darkness in the middle of Thailand and with no food, no light. I just wanted to give my cell phone away, essentially, and find peace in this never-ending burnout and anxiety. And what it gave me was absolutely astonishing. And for the first time in my life, this is about a decade ago, I was able to connect to that true identity of what I thought that I am instead of what I was trying to be. And essentially, I had this deep clarity, and I discovered my passion, my purpose, and the legacy that I want to leave behind in this world. And so it was day 7 that I finally surrendered. I went into this deep state of just bliss, peace, love, whatever you might call it. It was this um, first time in my life where I was just there, fully present. And the vision was really clear. It was that I want to spend the rest of my life in the service of others, in teaching others, what is it like to define their own passion, their purpose, and following their hearts, their dreams, and legacies. And so I walked out of there, out of that dark room, and essentially decided to, sell most of my Orange Theory fitness locations and all the other businesses that I have accumulated over the time, and went on this journey around the world to essentially Now, we travel with over 100 events a year. We teach breath, meditation, sound, biohacking, wellness, and we curate these incredible immersive retreats, workshops, and experiences to essentially allow others to do the same, to find and identify their own peace and their own vision for happy, healthy, and harmonious life.
Without having to do the dark or cold immersion, right? So-
Yeah, without going the into that craze, especially. Yeah. I think the message is that it's all been there this whole time. And I kept on searching it somewhere outside of myself. But really, if you hone down like what truly gives us these answers, it's to silence everything. Even just once a day, 10 to 20 minutes, if you can take this silent solitude, ideally in nature, it is wild after the monkey mind, kind of stops. All of those offerings, all of those ideas that are always there.
Sounds like you've been through this really educational, spiritual awakening path. Have you, along this journey of yours, found things that you say, hey, this really works for me? I can see showing other people how to implement this in their lives. Is this how this all came together?
Yeah, you got it. Absolutely. So basically, it's as simple as looking at all the most prominent areas in our life. And essentially, instead of running away from pain, problems, leaning into them, because that's where all of the lessons are. So I've identified this very simple 4-step process to this journey that everyone can do today, literally every moment. And it's all essentially layers of awareness that we're dictating throughout our life. And so before I get to the process, the number one most important thing is coming back to your breath. Breath is what you're born with, and breath is what we die with. But literally, what happens between the first and last breath is what determines the quality, the awareness of every single situation. Now, to translate this into the simplest terms, life gives us two options. We either react to certain situation, whatever it's your email, the never-ending scrolling on our phones, whatever it's, someone crossing in front of you in a car. And all of these opportunities are all there for us to either proact, which means you take charge of that situation, you view it as a gift, you start releasing whatever that charge may be connecting to it, or you react, which is the old ways of doing things where we tense up, we lose the sight of our breath. So breath is the key. And essentially life gives us, constant lessons. And we have been living chronically in the sympathetic nervous system where we're constantly fighting over life of, simple things like our Instagram post or emails or even someone driving in front of us in a car. And every situation gives us this option. We either react or proact. And so this is why coming back to your breath, no matter what happens in life, is first being able to identify that you are the one in charge. You don't have to give the power to the external world, but yet you can keep it in the internal world. And this is why everything starts with breath. So even right now, as you're listening, the golden standard for longevity is nasal breathing. And you want to inhale in through your nose and exhale out your nose. And the key is that you're using your diaphragm, and it's about 6 seconds on inhale and 6 seconds on exhale. Now, if you can just apply this into, while you're using your phone, while you're on your email, while you're doing the day-to-day work, you're one step closer to coming back into that true awareness of who and what you are, so you can allow all of these things that we keep on putting on a back burner to come into your space. Now, the 4-step process that I've identified that can be literally used for anyone or anything, it all always starts with the wake up phase. So first part is waking up, understanding and getting data of what is working in your life and what is not working in your life. And this could be as simple as you check in with your body. Is there chronic pain? How's your energy? How's your sleep? Or you can go get your blood drawn with a doctor so that way you can get a certain data set. Now, once you wake up, you then start cleaning up whatever that data shows you. So if you have a chronic pain, or if you apply this to a harmful relationship in your life, or constant negative thinking about yourself, that's the second phase. What you gonna do about this now that you're aware of it from the first phase? So you clean up. Now, if in the first phase you have tested that you have a high environmental toxins, you, for example, would use sauna, you would detox it, right, in the cleanup phase. Now, the third phase is powering up. Now that you have all of this data, what you gonna go and accelerate? So, for example, if you were low in vitamin D from your blood work, which most of us are nowadays, you would supplement vitamin D and get on the sun. And so, as you can see, you start actually progressing. You move into the driver's seat instead of being the passenger, taking charge of whatever that situation is. And then the fourth phase is resting up and reassessing. Where am I today? How am I doing? What changes do I want to implement? Because every single cycle that comes to you is there for you to expand, to go through these pain points, whatever it's on the mental, emotional, physical, relational, or even career basis. And so this is what I do today is I take every morning for myself about 10 to 30 minutes before the busy day begins, before I touch the cell phone, and I check in. I use the superpower of questioning everything. How am I doing? How's my physical health? How's my mental health? What do I want to experience today? Who do I want to meet? How do I want to show up for my kids and family? And this way, you start becoming more and more aware, more and more in control of your choices and of the consequences that follow.
It's so positive in how you bring that all together, and it makes sense because there's this real through line that people can follow to really improve their lives.
You got it. In what I've been through in life is, which I think a lot of people go through, we have this choice, right? We can be a victim of our own situations, no matter what these patterns are. And we can stay in that victim of what is happening to me again, and why me again, and why can I don't know, make this money or find the love that I want. And really and truly, it's we don't take enough time to spend with just ourselves to get clear. What is it that we want? What will make our heart feel full? And this is why I love dreaming. I love having like a dreaming, meditations, so to speak, where I just visualize, what would 10 years look like for me today? What would the last breath look like? And even what would the end of today look like? Because more we can start projecting and getting clear what actually makes us happy, then we start realizing like why are we making choices that are making us unhappy? And that's why, our message is so simple, but yet we don't take that time to slow it down, to focus on ourselves. And we call this the me, we, be model, where if you first focus on the me, which is that individual consciousness that you can affect your physical health, mental health, energetic, and emotional, you then can start focusing on the we because you fill up your own cup. And especially women in this world, they forget, you keep on giving and giving and forget to restore, recharge, rebalance. And so then we can give to the we, so we can be, do, and have all the results as a natural flow of our life.
One of the things that you touch on is what happens after awakening. So many people get to this place where it's like they're outpacing their nervous system. Can you share on that for us?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I tell you this, so, we curate over 100 events a year with well over 15,000 attendees every year. And essentially what we find, it's constantly very much the same old same. It's anxieties, it's depressions, it's, you know, disbalance in our nervous system. And honestly, it all starts again back with the choices. A lot of us, when we run low on fuel, we tend to reach for coffee, or maybe for some it's nicotine, some it could be nootropics, or even further, right, depending on what we're masking or trying to work on. And and I hear you, right? I hear this because I've been there so many times in the same place. But then the disbalance, the dysbiosis keeps on happening because of how we're spending time. And so if you think about life as a keynote, And the way we spend our life within this life is, we have the high note, which would be like the positive choices, the healthy choices, where, to give you an example, we start a day with green juices and we focus on, personalized diet and nourishing ourselves, treating our body as a temple. Or the low keynote would be, we still drink a lot of alcohol, we don't sleep enough, we, value toxicity over, the organic. And so when you look at life like this, we either are living within a degenerative spiral, which is these harmful, toxic choices, or we move into the regenerative spiral, which is how we're actually regenerating, expanding, and we can even, we can go back in our biological age and, drop it back down, which so many of the longevity and biohacking world is doing in today's world. And so if you think about how do we balance this, it truly is the crucial part is we have daily times where we unhook from the busy, busy world. I love doing it first thing in the morning and also last thing at night. So we can kind of unwind from that busyness and moving into the beingness. Now, I like to use this simple process that has completely ended burnouts for me. And I used to burn out literally every couple weeks. Like I would go, 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 burnout. Can't do anything, can't move, totally tired, sick. And now, even though we're busier than we've ever been, we're able to keep this powerful balance in life because of how we spend time. So once a day, 10 to 30 minutes before you touch the phone, go into the silence, go into meditation, connect to a variety of different breathing sessions. Then once a week, take a full day completely off. Now, ideally, we even introduce digital fasting where we don't touch the computers, cell phones. We take our kids into nature. We connect with my wife. We talk about the week before. We talk about how we want to experience the week ahead. And so that's the weekly kind of a drop in. And then once a month, we do something for 3 to 4 days completely off. Now, I know it might be a lot at first, but what we found is people will respect you that much more. And just like we're so good at creating projections for our companies and jobs and businesses, how about projection for our own health? Because to me, the true wealth is health, is harmony, is balance with all of our relationships, with all of our families, within ourselves. So that's what we do once a month. And then once a year, we take full 2 weeks off. And for me, this has been, going back to the 10 days of darkness. So I've actually done it now 6 times. I've spent over 60 days in complete darkness. But again, it doesn't have to be this extreme. This could be go into a cabin, go by the beach, go whatever will allow you to unhook from the computers, cell phones, from that busyness. And that is what truly rewires our nervous system. We can finally draw back down, allowing our body to sleep, to rest and digest. So that way we can smell the roses of everyday life. And this has been truly the key to our success, to travel more than ever, to work more than ever, but yet being more healthier, balanced than we've ever been as a whole family.
So, can you share with us what your events look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So our most kind of known event is called a system reset, where we literally look at your mind as the software, your body as the hardware. And just like a computer, when you hold the power button for 2 or more seconds, we reset you back to baseline. And that goes for the nervous system, mental patterning, emotional traumas, as well as anything with the physical. Now, we instead of connecting to the internet, right? Like if we want to download new software, new apps on your phone or computer, we're connecting people into the inner net. And that happens through sound frequencies, breath, meditations, guided visualizations. And we've created a whole show with a silent disco headphones, light stimulation. There is different ways we measure actually the group coherence. We measure the biofield of everyone before and after, as well as we have incredible instrumentalists, drummers, singers. So it's a full 4 to 5 hour experience that we tour through major cities where we combine all of the most powerful modalities. And we've been even studied by neuroscientists where they were able to find that we go from that overly analyzing beta brainwave, which is the, never ending thinking mind, when we move people instantly into alpha, at some point theta, as well as gamma. And what's interesting is people see new neuroplasticity. They see also neurogenesis. There is so many benefits that actually happens just to your brain and body when you are doing these exercises. And so that's why we've been on a mission for the last literally 8 years, 500 plus events, 100,000 plus attendees, because we see the power in all of us, and we see that people are rising. People are truly waking up, that the life that we've been taught to live in, the societal norm, is not simply working for us anymore. And so this is just a little insert or example of the physical locations. And we also, this next year, the 2026, we're launching a 12-month system upgrade digital series. And it's essentially the first 3 months. It's a 1 day full summit. It's highly immersive. And what we're doing, we're actually building the Earth 2.0 movement. And essentially what that means is, when we look at our version 1 Earth, for most of us, it doesn't work anymore. The toxicity, not having enough, the constant judgments and jealousies, and looking at our environment, the way we treat each other. And so version 2 Earth, or Earth 2.0 movement, is all about inspiring healthy, happy, and harmonious life. And so what we did is we reverse engineered the blueprint of what does it look like for this conscious consumer that's ready to be, part of this movement. And we found all of the most incredible speakers around the world, solutions, brands, and essentially we're featuring different immersive lectures, activations at each of the month's summit. And we made it super immersive, so that way we have even cooking show, we have a live concert, documentary watch party, the traditional Q&As and panelists. So that way people can actually get this education, understand the embodiment for their own. So it'll be a 12 months. Every month we will broadcast a slightly different topic. It will vary from mastering your physical body's health, your hormones, sleep, energy, exercise, diet, all the way to mental health, so we can end the madness of our, never-ending monkey mind, all the way to conscious capitalism, as well as relationships, and even looking at the unseen, the quantum realms of quantum physics and manifestation and beyond. And it will have 3 phases. So we're actually roll this into a full-blown docuseries after. And our mission right now is to essentially share this Earth 2.0 movement with as many people as possible, because we're going to be bringing people into this group state harmonics that we'll be able to measure, that is basically this powerful state of prayer through which people can truly make a major impact in this world.
Do people often report to you that they're having like identity shifts, or perhaps all their relationships changes, or maybe really strong emotions?
Oh my gosh, all the time. So a lot of people are stuck, that they come first. And that's what sometimes happens. We make degenerative choices long enough that we kind of get stuck in that, lower keynote. And essentially, we keep on thinking negatively, right? We might be in a negative relationship. We might be constantly feeling the self-doubt, self-judgment. We see that all the time. People don't love their bodies. People, talk to themselves as, as if they were ugly, and yet we're such a powerful, beautiful beings. And so that mental and emotional shift is absolutely the first step to this. Is we have to change the identity. We have to shift the state and the mood that we're constantly, procreating. Because again, science have proven this doesn't do anything good. It just leaves toxicity in on the cellular level. And so that's why first is that wake up phase, right? What is working, what is not. Second is getting rid of those things that do not work, so we can open up the things for new, so we can power up and accelerate that with the we. So that way together now we're finding people like-minded, so that strengthens that field of limitless potential that's truly embedded in all of us.
I think some people would probably say, well, I've always wanted to get to this point of higher enlightenment, but I've always struggled to do that. What do you say to those folks?
Have you had enough? Have you had enough of yourself? Have you had enough of those thoughts? Have you had enough of limiting yourself? Because I was there. I thought that this is not for me. This is only for those that are excited and happy. And that was the victimhood. That was the state where I constantly was claiming someone else over my own happiness. And so the minute that you realize you are the one in charge, you are the one that has to drive your own vehicle and apply the latest science, research, everything that we've ever needed to fix ourselves, to fix the baseline is already there. Like it's not like we have to search far nowadays. We just have to find the right tribe and the right support system that will also support you in that. And I think that's what I see with most people at the beginning is that they're stuck. They're stuck with that same type of, experience that they've co-created. And so the key is to shift out of that, get clear, even just 30 minutes a day, just start writing what would actually make you happy, especially when you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Because again, I've dealt with so much depression, anxiety, and I even had a suicidal thoughts when I was 18 years old. And I was determined. I do not want to take antidepressants. I do not want to take the medical part. And now I express myself in the most beautiful way I've never thought that was possible.
Well, what an empowering journey you have been on. And I just love the fact that you're helping so many people get to their own place of personal enlightenment. What a great job you're doing.
Oh, I appreciate you so much. And also thank you for opening up this powerful vessel that you have to inspire so many others around the world.
Well, Pavel, you're such an inspiration. Where can people go to learn more about your work? I know you have products that you have as well that are just high vibing and to be part of your community.
Absolutely. So if you want to sign up for the 12-month system upgrade, it's all free. We're also keeping it available for everyone. It starts January 31st and it's thesystemupgrade.com/register. So that will give you the link to be able to join us. And then our main website is called upperaeon.com, UPPERAEON.com for many, many other free resources for you to start your journey today.
Such a great resource. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with us here today.
Thank you very kindly as well.
Well, thank you, Pavel. It's been such an honor to spend this time with you and to talk about your work at Upper Aeon. Make sure to visit his website at upperaeon.com for more information and to be part of his community. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. You've been listening to Moments with Mary Ann, where we make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Mary Ann is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary. A recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Mary Ann will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmaryann.com for more information.